And your time starts now.
Can we just confirm that this is actually about the fact that should we live in an open society? So therefore, for example, when you're older and you've got children, at the moment they have like a list which is allowed to be published about who's on the paedophilia list. So are you saying that if you when you've got children, would you not want to know that information so that, for example, so then you don't know who's a risk to your family?
Appreciate what you're saying, especially paedophilia, but there's actually people that have been murdered because they're on the sex offenders register just for underage sex, but they've been murdered because people thought they were paedophiles or rapists, and there's been some serious consequences about that list being published.
So surely you should be allowed to voice your opinion on things. At the end of the day, it's like people that post like their opinions on, like, for example, how corrupt their government is. It's an opinion, and so you're saying that you're not allowed to have an opinion now.
But imagine, if you will, if I now ask you to share with this entire room everything you have done in the last week, everything.
But
Are you willing to do that?
The thing is, if we've got nothing to hide, why should you worry?
And, like,
everyone has something
what's
to hide.
wrong with living a life where you don't hide anything? Like you live an innocent life. Like you live the correct life. Like you should like people who believe in in God or believe in religion live this type of life because they believe that God is constantly like
if I could
observing
stop you
them.
there,
So
what
they
you're
live
describing is a utopia, so a completely open society, a perfect society, and utopias are things that don't exist. If I can ask you very quickly, would you pay to see a play where the actors hadn't rehearsed once? The answer is going to be no, and the reason the answer is going to be no is it's not going to be any good. If you think of politicians, governments, presidents, whatever you want, think of them as actors. They have to make plans to solve world problems, and these plans aren't something they just come up with. They do take practice. Imagine one of these plans in its initial stages was leaked. Imagine the consequences of that. Different things mean different things all over the world.
Yeah, exactly.
This is going to cause global tension if this happens.
If you share an idea, it can be developed further. So if you just kept an idea to yourself, how on earth are you going to progress it? For example, if someone may have a slight idea, maybe curing cancer. I know it's a bit far-fetched, but maybe you've got one element, someone else might have the other element, which will then bring that argument together, and which will then
make it true. So you're
agreeing with
us.
us.
So you're talking about cancer, but what if it was about how to solve a war, and something gets leaked about your initial idea on how to solve that war? It could make it worse.
But yeah, that's
it could make that war worse. More harm is going to be caused by doing this than good.
Can we just stop us there, because we can't even hear each other speak?
Right now, are you willing to share everything with everyone in this room about yourself, about everything you've
I've got
done?
nothing to hide.
You've got nothing to hide.
You don't have a right to have privacy and
but an open
intimacy.
society isn't saying that you've got to spill out everything that's in your head.
Yes, it is.
Well.
Completely open society.
No,
Everything is open. Everything is.
If I've got a secret in my head, I can keep it in my head because it's my secret.
But it's an open society.
An open
That's not how it works
is
on the
about
level of governance.
paedophiles and things that should be shared with the.
We're just talking about
negotiations between
positive.
two
Bad
countries.
things will happen if we live in an open society. You can only, if you just focus on the positive, of course it's going to sound good, but terrible things will happen.
In that people should be able to know about new developments and know about like new causes that are going to help like cure cancer. Like it shouldn't be.
But you're only talking about the good. What about the bad that gets leaked? We're talking about on a mass scale as well. But this is going to filter down.
Like paedophiles, then you stay away from them and you don't go near them. Like think about global warming, like things that are kept secrets because people don't want to talk about it, or people like hide away because things like these issues are happening. If a world had an open society and we was all living together and we was all living as a world and we was going to like solve
it's working together.
and we was working together to solve problems like this.
But everyone around you will know, if you know anyone that has AIDS, everyone will know they have AIDS. How is that fair?
Well, then
That's
surely,
something that's
but that's
personal to
surely a
someone
good
and
thing,
they
because
have
then
the
it will
right to
stop
share
the
it.
spread, because then people aren't going to like.
That is not.
I know it's a backwards way of looking at it, but surely it's kind of
because someone with AIDS knows that they have it, and they have the personal choice to tell someone.
Earlier. And if we also live in an open society, it would mean that people would have the right to know things that they should know that should be accessible to them.
But also people won't have the right to withhold information that could
If
cause
you
problems.
lived down the street with a paedophile and your child was running down the street and you had absolutely no idea how
And he's
to
offering them
react.
sweets, and you
You
didn't
mentioned
know.
that point earlier.
leaked.
You mentioned that point earlier, and I said I might, like to know, but I might also go and kill them, which is, again, that's happened due to this information being open to everyone.
Stop!